With less than a year to go until the Iowa caucuses, the 2020 presidential campaign is in full swing. More than a dozen Democratic candidates now qualify for the debates, and the pressure is on to stand out in a crowded field. Candidates are making their pitches to voters who have shifted further to the left in the Trump era. Progressive ideas have moved into the mainstream, giving centrist candidates stiff competition. Leading the Democratic pack, according to a recent CNN poll, are former Vice President Joe Biden, Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders, Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren, and South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg. Former Texas Representative Beto O'Rourke has also made inroads in the Democratic Party, along with Senator Kamala Harris. But they clash on some big-ticket items, like healthcare and the Green New Deal. Here are their visions for America's future. The candidates have different ideas on how to get more money into working and middle-class wallets. Sanders wants to put higher taxes on the 1%. He introduced a plan to raise the estate tax, including a 77% tax on inheritances worth more than $1 billion.
That population that inherits over $3.5 million, your taxes will in fact be going up, and they should be going up.
Harris's plan would give $6,000 a year to families making less than $100,000 and $3,000 a year to individuals making less than $50,000. That would come in the form of a tax credit.
I am running to guarantee working and middle-class families an overdue pay increase. We will deliver the largest working and middle-class tax cut in a generation, up to $500 a month to help America's families make ends meet.
However, people who aren't working, such as retirees or stay-at-home moms, wouldn't get anything under this new plan. Mayor Buttigieg has said that he supports labor unions and that trade deals like NAFTA have resulted in Americans losing jobs. Proposals centered on wealth redistribution are gaining popularity among the left, so candidates like O'Rourke, who describe themselves as proud capitalists, would face tough questions from voters. Senator Warren has made a name for herself as a ruthless opponent of big banks, millionaires, and growing income inequality, and wants to raise regulations on these issues.
Don't call me the polarizing figure. They're the ones who want to take advantage of this country. They're the ones who want to cheat. They're the ones who want to say that their personal wealth, their power is more important than building an America that works for everyone.
You don't think capitalists are bad people?
I'm a capitalist. Come on.
Sanders is also known for railing against big banks and the 1%, but he has recently come under scrutiny for his own wealth, which he has earned through real estate, investments, and book sales. And other candidates have a closer relationship to Wall Street and the industry's big political donors. Biden refers to himself as middle-class Joe, but his high speaking fees into the hundreds of thousands of dollars could raise eyebrows. Biden has also received a great deal of support from the credit card industry.
I know I'm referred to as middle-class Joe because I talk about the middle class so much, but and I know in this town, it's not a compliment. To say you're middle class means you're not sophisticated.
Raising the federal minimum wage is also a popular policy platform, which has been stuck at $7.25 an hour for a full decade. As healthcare costs continue to rise and Republicans fight to dismantle Obamacare, the progressive mantra of Medicare for All has gone from a long-shot idea to a major Democratic policy platform. Sanders introduced a Medicare for All bill in 2017. The potential law would eliminate private insurance in favor of expanding Medicare to cover every American. Senator Harris backed that plan. Elizabeth Warren also co-signed Sanders' 2017 bill and has made it clear that she wants to make healthcare more accessible to women of color.
We will go further, and we will say that in this country, everyone gets a right to basic health care. That's what Medicare for All is all about, and that's why we're here.
O'Rourke, on the other hand, has thrown his support behind a more moderate plan known as Medicare for America. It was introduced in 2018 by Representatives Rosa DeLauro of Connecticut and Jan Schakowsky of Illinois. Unlike Medicare for All, Medicare for America would preserve employer-sponsored health insurance, saving the government money compared to a single-payer system. Buttigieg supports what's called an all-payer rate system, which sets a single nationwide price for a medical procedure. Insurers no longer have to negotiate discounts, which he says makes insurance affordable for all.
The framework we're using is Medicare. A lot of people who have Medicare also have Medicare supplements, Medicare Advantage, something like that. There can be a role for the private sector.
Biden has been a strong defender of the Affordable Care Act, created by former President Barack Obama, and it remains unclear whether he'd support a bigger expansion of government health insurance. While the candidates have endorsed popular ideas like legalizing marijuana and abolishing private prisons, their records on criminal justice issues could tell a different story, and it could come back to bite them. Harris's time as California Attorney General and a district attorney in San Francisco has come under scrutiny by progressives who claim she promoted harsh policies. Those policies included jailing parents if their children missed too many days of school and defending California's death penalty system in court.
There are some people who just believe that prosecutors shouldn't exist, and I don't think I'm ever going to satisfy them. But I will also say that there is so much more work to do, and do I wish I could have done more? Absolutely.
And as a senator from Delaware, Biden supported President Clinton's 1994 crime bill, with its 3 strikes rule and increased funding for police.
Madam President, we have predators on our streets that society has, in fact, in part because of its neglect, created.
That tough-on-crime approach, promoted in the 90s, is now widely viewed as a factor behind the country's mass incarceration boom. But Biden says that his views have evolved.
There are things I would change. I opposed, for example, the carjacking provision that the administration wanted in. But by and large, what it really did, it restored American cities.
Sanders also voted for the Clinton crime bill, although he criticized its approach to tackling crime. O'Rourke has a criminal history of his own. He was arrested twice in his 20s, once for trespassing and once for drunk driving. O'Rourke has acknowledged that he benefited from his identity as a white male, and that other communities frequently face harsher sentences.
I understand now how exceptional my experience was, and the fact that these mistakes didn't define me or my future or my options over the course of my lifetime. That's right. And now there are so many people in this country who, because their families cannot post bail, are unable to get out of jail.
All of the contenders have denounced President Trump's immigration policies. They oppose the border wall and family separations at the border, and support a path to citizenship for undocumented immigrants. Several candidates also have personal ties to the country's immigration system. Harris is the child of Jamaican and Indian immigrants, which she says shaped her identity and policy views. O'Rourke hails from the border town of El Paso, Texas, and he has said that he supports tearing down the wall that separates his hometown from Mexico. Sanders has argued in the past that more immigration would drive down wages for American workers, and some criticize that his 2016 campaign didn't focus enough on immigration in favor of economic issues. But Sanders appears to be making a renewed effort in his second go-around.
I'm running for president because we need to end the demonization of undocumented immigrants in this country and move to comprehensive immigration reform.
While Biden was part of the Obama administration, record numbers of undocumented immigrants were deported, at levels not even matched by President Trump. As the race continues and the candidates include more specific policy proposals, their identities and paths to the nomination will come into focus. Until then, voters will be left to piece together where exactly the candidates stand on the issues that will shape America's future. That is, if one of them can beat President Trump.